Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode. We took a couple weeks off. I was out of town and had some other things going on, but we're back, and today we're going to be talking about Google Analytics, a little bit of a nerdy topic, but I think it's definitely a necessary evil to learn and to have implemented into your business, or to have somebody managing this inside of your business. First, we're going to go over kind of what Google Analytics even is, why you should probably have it, and then some upcoming changes. And then we're going to talk about something I've got exciting happening next week for you on next week's episode. So the first thing we're going to be going over is why Google Analytics, and the number one reason that I have is that it is free. Google Analytics is 100% free. You can sign your business up. All you have to do is tie some HTML tag to the header code in your website, and essentially what is going to happen is that tag on the top of your header code in your website is going to monitor all of the traffic that happens on your website. So it'll tell you where people are coming from, what they're clicking on, what pages of the site they visit the most, how long they're on your website, and each page specifically. So if you can imagine, if you have a list of 10 services, it'll tell you which service page is visited the most. Or if you have 10,000 products, it's going to tell you which products are getting the most traction. And it's also going to tell you, again, where people are coming from, which is very, very useful data. So with all of that being free, it just blows it blows my mind, even the abilities that we have to be able to monitor, learn from, and ultimately leverage for our traffic on our website. It is automatic, so it's not like after you set up the code, it's basically going to automatically start collecting data for you, and it's going to basically just like roll everything into a customized report for you. On top of that, it also integrates with a lot of platforms. So if you're on like WordPress, Shopify, a lot of these web builders have integration apps built in so that you don't even really have to do a lot of manipulation with code or anything. Just ties straight into it, and it's very seamless and easy to install. The next thing is that you can also just understand why visitors are bouncing off of your website. So even for my business, Alpha Social Media, we like to know which buttons are clicked on the most, which pages are visited the most, how long people are staying on the page, all those good things, because then it can tell me, well, if people are only staying on this page for 3 seconds on average, clearly we need to implement something that's interesting to them to get them to stay a little bit longer, or at least just get them to the bottom of the page to convert, right? And knowing, like, say, the age and the gender and like the things that they're interested in, the location of your audience, all of these things are really important. It also ties to your Google Ads account as well. So, if we saw a huge spike in traffic from India or Argentina or Brazil, these companies or these countries that we don't necessarily want to be sending traffic to or from because we're not going to be doing business there, I could even see if that's coming from our Google Ads account and then let our ads team know, guys, I'm getting traffic from this country, like, I don't know why that's happening, and then they can actually blacklist that country, and then that will make sure that we no longer are serving ads out there, meaning the traffic from that country should decrease a little bit if they're coming from the paid ads. Something else that's really cool, which I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is that you're going to be able to track like which social platforms the people are coming from. So it'll literally tell you if it was Facebook, Instagram, your Instagram story, Twitter, TikTok, it's going to tell you which social platform is directing you traffic, so you can actually know, hey, this one's literally giving us the most amount of business. We need to focus our efforts here a little bit better. It could even be a place that you don't anticipate where they're coming from. And another part of it, kind of like I said, was like content optimization. So being able to optimize the pages to basically leverage all of the traffic's activity in a sense. So when you are able to see, kind of like I said, after 15 seconds we have drop off here, you got to kind of optimize the pages to where that's not going to be happening, always having your call to actions and all that good stuff. Something else that's really cool with Google Analytics is that you can actually get a Google Analytics extension tag, meaning you can, say in your Chrome browser, download an extension for Google Analytics, and if you're logged in on like another tab, or if it's just in your cache and you're logged in, you can be on your own website or any website that you're managing and click on that extension in your browser, and it's going to actually pull up like a bar at the top of the screen and then give you a heat map of where people are clicking. So on our website again, right? Like I have, for instance, two buttons. One says learn more and the other one says my dashboard. So if like tons and tons of people are clicking my dashboard, but this is really the place where I'm trying to get a call to action for customers to convert, I might actually kill off that dashboard button because I want people to click learn more, meaning, I want the majority of my traffic to be a new customer ready to go and hopefully get down to my contact form at the bottom of the page. So if they were to click learn more, it'll scroll them down straight to that contact page. So having that extension has also been a really big thing for us because we can manage via a heat map, like where people are going. We can see all of that and then try to make adjustments based on that stuff. So if you don't have anyone currently managing or watching your website and the Google Analytics and all that stuff, definitely get that going. If you don't have a Google Analytics account yet, I think you should start, and I think you should start like right now, and I'll tell you one of the more pressing reasons why, which is the next thing I was going to talk about, which is Google Analytics 4. So this is the next thing they're rolling out. I think it's already been available like for about a year now, but Google Analytics 4 is going to be in full effect come July 1st, 2023. And the reason that you might want to get set up now instead of later is because you want to start building that historical data so that when July does come around, like if you started now, for instance, when it's actually the only Google Analytics offering, because the Universal Analytics is going to go away. That's what Google Analytics currently is. When Google Analytics 4 comes available, you're going to want some historical data on there, and because it's launching July 1st, and that's going to be like when the Universal is gone, if you start now, you can almost have an entire year's worth of historical data already. So we've gotten our website officially like launched with GA4. That's the acronym for Google Analytics 4. We've officially got ours launched a few months ago, and so it's already kind of collecting some data and traffic. I will say from old platform to new, definitely 100% different. A lot of people are used to Google updating things, even like the Ads Manager. That's been a pretty hairy thing, but people are used to, Google updated, easy fix, I'll just learn it all and whatever. This one's a little bit different. The GA4 platform is it's 100% different in the way that it's set up. The things that you're able to track, the terms that they use change. So instead of, I forget what they were called, like conversions or like clicks and reach and all these like things, they're basically just call everything an event now. So whether it's a click on your site, they fill out the contact form, they buy something, they label all of these things as events now. And so it's just tagging each event as a certain type of event and then labeling its value to you if you really want to tie it into your Google Ads account and make sure all that's going. Now, I'm going to pause right there. If all of this stuff is going straight over your head, there's like two things that you need to do. You either need to learn it and spend, an afternoon or, maybe 2 or 3 throughout the week going through YouTube videos and just looking through some sort of setup platform, or you need to find somebody who does know how to do it and have them start implementing it on your site. Like I said, this is a relatively pressing thing in terms of time just because GA4 is going to be launching about a year from next month, and so getting an entire year's worth of stuff onto the platform is going to be beneficial because you can say, hey, last July we did this, this July we expect this. And so just being able to manage all of that stuff and start sooner than later, I think would be very beneficial. It is easy to get up and running. Like I said, all you really have to do is take some code from your GA4, configuration setup. So when you go to set up an actual property on there, they call them properties, that would be your website. You're gonna see like all of the configuration installation instructions, and that will be where you get your code. You tie that onto the header code of your site, and like I said, if you're in Shopify, WordPress, all these things, you're gonna have a little bit of a hiccup with the integration for GA4. Now, Google Analytics, where it currently exists, the Universal Analytics, that is actually up and running in most sites like Shopify and all these others, Squarespace, WordPress, Wix. They've already got the integration for this, but if the GA4 thing is a little bit new, right? So I believe WordPress today is the only one that actually still has, it's the only one that actively has a new integration for the GA4. I think we're still waiting on Shopify and a couple others. If you don't want to use an integration tool, like I said, it really is just like a 8 or 9 line piece of code that just needs to be tied into your header site. So if you're using maybe like a third-party software where there's app integration and you don't really like have a custom builder, but it's more of like a drag and drop template based system, and you don't have access to like the JavaScript or the CSS, You're probably going to want to reach out to the team that is managing it. So, for instance, I can think of a couple off the top of my head, like Comment Sold. There's tons of builders out there, Squarespace, Wix, all these guys. Like, if you can't figure it out on your own, I would just reach out to them, have them give them that code and see if they can install it for you. And then on the front end of GA4, you're going to start seeing when traffic starts pinging through there. So it'll actually let you know when the code is installed correctly. The last thing I would say about Google Analytics before I tell you about what's coming next is just that, like, being plugged in with data for your business is one of the most, like, important things, in my opinion, when it comes to wanting to not only optimize your website but just grow your business in general. Because ultimately, for a lot of us, the online presence that we have, our web presence, is one of the most important places that we do business, that contact form and all of those things. So being able to monitor what people are doing on your site, like I said, making sure that they're doing the things that you want them to do, making sure that the intention of the page is actually being executed on, is extremely important. So, if you spend all this time and you build this wonderful landing page for, say, Facebook ads, and it's, let's use an example for, say, Alpha's ads, for instance. So if I have an ad going and it's running specifically to people in the professional services industry, if they click on my ad, I probably just paid like $1.50 for that click, come over to my website, and then they just disappear. I want to know that because I'm paying money over here to send them to there. So I want to know if they're bouncing after 5 seconds because they're disinterested, if they are scrolling down, not clicking on anything, if they're clicking on the nav bar for some reason and going to a different page and bouncing off the one that we have. All of that is relevant information. And the cool part is, actually, for our clients over at Alpha, we pull all of the GA4 now and the previous Google Analytics stuff into our client dashboard. So when you're looking at your Facebook ad performance and your organic performance on social media, you can actually have your Google Analytics data like right there in tune with everything else too. So if you are listening and a current client of mine, just let me know and we can try to set that up for you. It's not, like I said, the GA4 itself is extremely free. No secret, subscription model, none of that. We would just need to get it set up for you, and then it's going to be ongoing and running for the years to come. So get GA4 set up. I'm excited for all of that. If you have questions, leave them down in the description. Now, the thing I wanted to announce to you guys is we're finally having our first guest of the season on the pod. That is coming this next Wednesday, and that is going to be when it's releasing. We're actually recording it tomorrow, and I'm recording it with David Williams. He is a realtor based out of Texas, I believe, and I could be totally off on that. I hope I'm not. Sorry, David. But he has been growing his social media platform basically just from nothing to where he's at now. I believe last time I checked, he was at like 800 or so followers on Instagram. So he's been making the reels and all these other things. But we're going to be talking with him about his journey from nothing to where he is now, and ultimately like the pain points that have come along with it, the things that he's learned, and hopefully we can give something back to you guys that are trying to grow, even like your TikTok page from the start, right? Like getting the pain points brought into the light and sharing them with you can be highly beneficial for us. Even people like me who are trying to grow our pages, if you're not a realtor, it doesn't necessarily mean there's not relevant data and information in the pod for you to learn from, just because it's something that we're all going to experience. We're going to be talking about the types of videos that he's releasing, the lengths of them, how often he's releasing, how he's seen the success or the lack thereof with the different lengths and types and all that stuff. So I think it'll be a really good episode, especially if you're a younger page, or maybe you're just starting out with TikTok or just starting out with Instagram Reels. It's going to be a really good episode, so make sure to tune in next Wednesday for that. And that is the end of this one, guys. Thank you for listening.